the Persian Gulf. 3:47 a.m. Thursday, 247 launch events registered simultaneously across 3 separate geographic corridors. Not a probe, not a demonstration. Every mobile launcher Iran had pre-positioned over the preceding 11 days fired within a 19-second window. A synchronization that required months of preparation and a level of operational security the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps had never previously achieved. The timing was deliberate. A Category 3 dust storm crossing the southern Gulf had degraded optical coverage from 2 commercial imaging satellites. A scheduled maintenance cycle on a U.S. signals intelligence platform had opened a 40-minute gap in electronic intercept coverage. Iranian strategic planners had identified both conditions 6 weeks earlier and timed the operation to exploit them simultaneously. From the Zagros mountain corridor in western Iran, 41 Emad medium-range ballistic missiles rose above the ridgeline, their liquid fuel exhaust columns catching the pre-dawn thermals and spreading into a curtain of orange light, visible from 300 kilometers. From the Khuzestan lowlands, 67 Fateh 313 solid fuel missiles launched from mobile platforms concealed in agricultural terrain. Trucks parked in open fields for weeks, indistinguishable from civilian transport. From the coast nearest the Strait of Hormuz, 38 Hovizeh ground-launched cruise missiles and 51 Noor anti-ship missiles lifted from hardened coastal battery positions, their flight profiles hugging the Gulf surface at altitudes below 30 meters, threading the gap between radar coverage and the water. 247 weapons. 3 targets: Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar, Al Dhafra Air Base in the United Arab Emirates, and the carrier strike group operating 40 miles southeast of Bahrain. The Iranian strategic assessment rested on 4 premises. First, a simultaneous 3-vector saturation operation would exhaust U.S. interceptor magazines before all threats could be neutralized. Second, the dust storm and signals gap would delay detection by 4 to 6 minutes, enough for ballistic missiles to reach mid-course before Thiad could engage. Third, U.S. political leadership would hesitate to authorize a full counter-operation given proximity to Iranian civilian infrastructure. Fourth, the 1983 Beirut precedent that sufficient American losses would force regional withdrawal rather than escalation. All 4 premises were wrong. 3 of them were wrong within 90 seconds of launch. The infrared analyst at Buckley Space Force Base was 26 years old and had monitored the Persian Gulf sector for 9 months. At 3:47 a.m. Mountain Time, 9 seconds after the first launches, her SBIRS terminal showed 231 new thermal signatures appearing across 3 geographic clusters in under 19 seconds. Her threshold for a saturation launch event was 15 simultaneous signatures. She was looking at 15 times that number. She pressed the alert confirmation 2 seconds after first detection. The previous record for SBIRS alert confirmation on a mass launch event was 3.4 seconds. The space-based infrared system had not been degraded by the dust storm. It operated in infrared wavelengths that weather and optical obscurance do not affect. The signals intelligence gap was real, but SBIRS needed no signals intelligence. It needed only heat. 247 rocket motors burning simultaneously generated more heat than the system had ever recorded from a single adversary launch event in its operational history. 30 seconds after launch, 247 tracks had been assigned, correlated, and distributed across the theater defensive network. The cooperative engagement capability linking every Aegis-equipped vessel in the Gulf shared targeting data at fiber optic speed. The command structure at CENTCOM, NORAD, and the carrier flag bridge received identical tracks simultaneously. The Iranian strategic assessment had assumed a 4 to 6 minute detection delay. The actual detection time was 9 seconds. At 3:48 a.m., weapons release authorization transmitted from CENTCOM to theater commanders. Not a discussion. A pre-authorized response protocol. reviewed, refined, and exercised for 11 years, executing the moment launch was confirmed. The U.S. military was not deciding what to do. It was doing what it had already decided. The first SM-3 Block 2A launches occurred at 3:48 a.m., 57 seconds after the adversary's first weapons left the ground. The Emad ballistic missiles from the Zagros corridor were at 180 kilometers altitude, descending toward Al-Dhafra. The SM-3S were intercepting them in space. The SM-3 Block 2A costs approximately $27.1 million per interceptor. 22 launched in the first salvo, $596.2 million of ordnance airborne in the first minute of the engagement, before a single adversary missile had been neutralized. Iran's entire Emad production run, approximately 50 deployed missiles, carried an estimated development and production cost of $340 million. The U.S. was expending nearly twice that value in interceptors alone in the first 60 seconds. The mathematics of deterrence operate in both directions. 17 of the 22 SM-3 launches achieved intercept. 5 adversary Emad missiles survived the mid-course layer. 2 had been targeted by SM-3s that failed terminal guidance lock due to the missile's maneuvering re-entry vehicle capability, an improvement that pre-operation intelligence had underestimated by 23%. The SM-3 is optimized for non-maneuvering ballistic trajectories. Against a maneuvering warhead, engagement geometry degrades. The 5 survivors entered the THAAD engagement envelope. THAAD at Al-Dhafra engaged at 3:49 a.m. 3 were intercepted cleanly. A 4th was neutralized at the outer edge of engagement range, fragmentation debris scattering across a 600-meter radius. The 5th was maneuvering unpredictably. THAAD Fire Control classified it as anomalous trajectory. Confidence in a single intercept solution below threshold. 2 interceptors launched simultaneously. 1 achieved intercept. 1 did not. The Emad's warhead reached terminal phase at 3:49 a.m., where 3 PAC-3 MSE interceptors were waiting. PAC-3 MSE engaged at 3:49 a.m. The warhead was at 12 kilometers altitude, descending at Mach 8.4, 11 kilometers from the base perimeter. 2 interceptors launched. The first achieved intercept at 9.2 kilometers, fragmenting but not fully neutralizing the warhead. High-velocity debris continued on a ballistic path. The CRAM CIWS at Al-Dhafra's perimeter activated at 1.4 kilometers range, its 20mm phalanx firing at 4,500 rounds per minute, a solid cone extending across the pre-dawn sky. Most debris intercepted. 3 fragments struck the taxiway apron on the northern perimeter. A 4th fragment, approximately 12 centimeters across, hit the roof of a maintenance hangar. 1 ground crew member sustained a laceration from secondary debris. He remained at his station. That was the Emad battery's single successful penetration of the defensive network. 1 fragment, 1 injury. 41 missiles launched. The Fateh 313 engagement at Al-Udaid ran simultaneously on a compressed timeline. 67 solid fuel missiles, shorter range, approximately 8 minutes 40 seconds of flight time at maximum range. 4 PAC-3 MSE batteries around Al-Udaid's perimeter engaged in threat priority order. At 3:51 a.m., the Eastern Battery Commander tracked a cluster of 4 Fateh 313s descending in compressed salvo pattern, a tactic designed to saturate a single battery's engagement channel. His battery had already engaged 9 missiles. Ready load, 14 interceptors remaining. 4 incoming. 2 interceptors assigned to each. All 4 were neutralized between 8 and 14 kilometers altitude. His ready load fell to 6. The reload cycle, 7 minutes. He reported status and continued tracking. For those 7 minutes, his sector carried reduced point defense capacity. The next 2 Fateh missiles allocated to his zone were redirected to the Western Battery. The system adapted without a gap. 63 of 67 Fateh 313 missiles were intercepted. 4 reached terminal phase. 2 were neutralized by PAC-3 at close range. 2 impacted within Al-Udaid's perimeter. The first struck an unoccupied parking ramp. Crater 18 meters in diameter. Ground operations disrupted for 34 minutes. The second struck near the main taxiway, producing a 2.1-meter crater in the pavement surface. Base engineers declared the primary runway operational within 11 minutes. Al-Udaid continued surge flight operations throughout. The cruise missile and anti-ship threat was the most complex defensive problem. 38 Hovizeh GLCMs and 51 Noor anti-ship missiles were flying at 15 to 30 meters above the Gulf surface, below the radar horizon of shore-based systems. The E-3 Sentry AWACS, orbiting at 30,000 feet, maintained continuous track on every cruise missile. SM-6 dual-mode interceptors from the Aegis destroyer screen began engaging sea-skimming targets from 3:49 a.m. F/A-18E/F. Super Hornets, already airborne on combat air patrol, were vectored to intercept cruise missiles outside SM-6 engagement range. On the carrier flight deck, under red lighting in 30-degree Gulf air, aircraft were cycling at 60-second intervals. Catapult steam, jet exhaust, ordnance crews moving in choreography that looks like chaos from a distance and is precision from within. 21 cruise missile intercepts accrued to carrier air-wing aircraft between 3:50 a.m. and 3:59 a.m. 12 Hovizeh missiles survived to carrier strike group range. CRAM systems on the escort screen intercepted 9 at 4 to 9 kilometers. 3 continued toward the carrier. CIWS engaged all 3 at 3:54 a.m. at ranges of 1.1, 1.4, and 1.8 kilometers. 2 were intercepted. The third was neutralized at 0.9 kilometers, close enough that fragments struck the carrier's island structure at reduced velocity. Minor damage to a radar antenna housing was logged. The commanding officer did not alter launch tempo. By 3:55 a.m., 7 minutes and 38 seconds after the Iranian launch, the adversary's initial salvo was effectively neutralized. Of 247 weapons launched, 241 had been intercepted across multiple defensive layers. 6 achieved effect: 2 runway impacts at Al-Udaid, 1 fragment at Al-Dhafra, 1 carrier island structure impact from debris, and degraded CIWS antennas on 2 escort destroyers, both ships remaining combat effective. U.S. personnel injured, 3. All minor. All returned to duty. In the CENTCOM Command Center at MacDill Air Force Base, the counter-operation had been running in parallel since 3:47 a.m. The designation, Copper Basin. A pre-planned targeting sequence built over 19 months, updated 4 times, carrying 211 aim points across 134 Iranian military installations. Each aim point assigned a weapon type, a time-on-target window, and a backup weapon. The target list was not improvised under pressure. It was a document. It was being executed. Copper Basin received full activation authority at 3:56 a.m. 4 B-1B Lancer bombers had been airborne since 2:15 a.m. on routine alert rotation from Diego Garcia. Each carried 24 JAS SMER missiles preloaded with Copper Basin target coordinates. At 3:56 a.m., all 4 received their packages simultaneously. Within 11 minutes, 96 JAS-SMER missiles were inbound to Iranian military installations across western and central Iran. By minute 22, the running total of U.S. munitions expenditure had crossed $1.04 billion. $596.2 million in ZEM-3 interceptors, $312 million in SEM-6 and PAC-3 MSE interceptors, and $130.6 million in JAS SMER ordnance. 96 missiles at $1.36 million each. The invoice was still climbing. Additional Tomahawk Block 5 cruise missiles launched from surface combatants in the Gulf contributed 31 more weapons to the first wave. Total first-wave cruise missile launches, 55. EA-18G Growler electronic attack aircraft reached jamming stations at 4:01 a.m. Iranian air defense radar networks across the southern and western sectors experienced immediate signal degradation. S-300P MU-2 and Bavar 373 SAM systems found their track files corrupting. Engagement solutions becoming unreliable. One Growler pilot noted a fifth active SAM radar on a frequency band, not in the intelligence database. A Bavar 373 variant operating outside pre-planned harm targeting parameters. He transmitted the frequency data to the CAOC and held his orbit. The updated targeting solution arrived in 4 minutes and 11 seconds. U.S. Cybercom began executing intrusion sequences at 3:52 a.m. through maintenance backdoors, preserved in Iranian air defense software for 31 months. Never triggered. Kept dormant specifically for this moment. Ground-based radars began receiving corrupted data packets. Communication links between sector commanders and battery operators began stretching from milliseconds to seconds, then to minutes. The network wasn't collapsing in a single moment. It was becoming progressively unreliable, which for a system dependent on split-second targeting solutions, produced the same operational outcome. Harm missiles launched from F/A-18F Super Hornets at 4:03 a.m. 7 launches. 5 achieved guidance lock on active Iranian SAM radars. 2 guided on decoy emitters, corner reflectors designed to mimic radar signatures, a countermeasure that had been rehearsed. The 2 real radars protected by those decoys remained operational. A second harm pair was tasked based on updated Growler geolocation data. The second pair guided accurately. The JASSM-ER missiles reached first targets at 4:04 a.m. IRGC missile base, Delta 7, in the Zagros foothills 80 kilometers southwest of Isfahan, received 4 simultaneous impacts in 4 seconds. The facility had staged the Emad battery that engaged Al-Dhafra. Its mobile launchers had displaced. Iranian doctrine requires immediate relocation after launch. The fixed infrastructure had not displaced. It could not. Seismographs at Isfahan University registered 1.8 magnitude events. The geology department would spend 2 hours determining they were not natural. 16 additional missile base facilities across the Zagros corridor received JASSM-ER impacts in the following 22 minutes. Time-on-target windows were staggered to prevent Iranian commanders from identifying a coordinated engagement pattern that might prompt preemptive relocation of surviving mobile assets. The GBU-57 massive ordnance penetrator had been reserved for exactly 2 targets in Copper Basin. Fordow Enrichment Facility, 60 meters underground, reinforced by 8 meters of concrete, built specifically to survive conventional ordnance, and a command bunker complex in the Alborz mountain range, housing IRGC strategic command infrastructure. 2 B-2 Spirit bombers had departed Whiteman Air Force Base 22 hours earlier, their mission profile placing them over release points at 4:07 a.m., precisely timed to coincide with the electronic suppression the Growlers and harm operations were executing. The B-2 over Fordow released its GBU-57 at 4:07 a.m. The weapon weighed 13,608 kilograms. It impacted the facility's reinforced surface cap at Mach 1.8 and penetrated 61 meters before detonating. Seismographs across central Iran registered 3.1 magnitude. The underground enrichment halls, the centrifuge galleries that had been the subject of international diplomacy for a decade, collapsed. The operational assessment was instantaneous. The Alborz bunker complex received its GBU-57 at 4:08 a.m. The IRGC Strategic Command Center ceased to exist as an operational structure 5 seconds later. This is where the adversary's contingency planning encountered its fatal variable. IRGC doctrine called for activation of the Shahid Raja'i Reserve if Strategic Command went silent for 2 hours after initial launch. The Shahid Raja'i complex near Jask, on the Gulf of Oman, held 24 Zulfiqar ballistic missiles positioned to threaten carrier operations in the Arabian Sea. At 4:09 a.m., the reserve commander had received no communication for 22 minutes. Not 2 hours, but 22 minutes. The communication architecture connecting him to strategic command had been subjected to the same progressive degradation applied across the network since 4:01 a.m. He was not waiting 2 hours. He was responding to a silence that felt operational rather than technical. At 4:09 a.m., he ordered Zulfiqar launch preparation to begin. An RQ-170 Sentinel orbiting the Gulf of Oman at 60,000 feet detected the activation immediately. Zulfiqar preparation requires approximately 18 minutes to first ready missile. The Shahid Raja'i complex was aim point 187 in Copper Basin, previously assessed as dormant. The targeting coordinator reprioritized it to immediate engagement at 4:10 a.m. 4 JASSMER missiles reassigned from lower priority secondary targets. Flight time from the nearest B-1B holding orbit, 14 minutes and 23 seconds. Preparation cycle, 18 minutes. Margin, 3 minutes and 37 seconds. A 5th and 6th JASSMER were assigned as redundancy. The targeting coordinator noted the margin in his log and kept his eyes on the Sentinel feed. The first impact at Shahid Raja'i occurred at 4:24 a.m. 4 additional impacts followed in 19 seconds. The Zulfiqar missiles were at 13 minutes and 20 seconds into their preparation cycle. They did not complete it. By 4:30 a.m., 178 of 211 Copper Basin aim points had been confirmed engaged. The remaining 33 were in the highest altitude sections of the Zagros mountain complex, where 4 decades of tunnel construction provided protection that conventional ordnance could only partially overcome. The B-2s, having completed primary operations and refueled from a KC-135 tanker over the Arabian Sea, were reassigned to the mountain complex with GBU-28 bunker-penetrating bombs and small-diameter bombs for surface infrastructure. Mountain complex engagement continued through 4:47 a.m. 11 deep tunnel facilities were assessed as potentially surviving. Their entrances sealed, supporting infrastructure neutralized, but deepest chambers potentially intact. This was noted without surprise. It was the expected outcome. Tunnel networks 4 decades in construction do not disappear in one engagement. What disappears is their operational context, their command connectivity, their logistical support, their ability to be used. At 4:47 a.m., the accounting was running in parallel with final engagement phases. SM-3 Block 2A, $596.2 million. SM-6 and P AC-3 MSE interceptors, $312 million. Tomahawk Block 5, $121 million. JASSMER, $130.6 million. 2 GBU-57 MOPs, $7 million. Additional harm, GBU-28 and small diameter ordnance, $94 million. Total munitions expenditure, $1.261 billion. Against that number, the damage assessment was calculating Iranian military infrastructure losses between $8.1 and $11.4 billion in replacement value. 3 decades of weapons program investment, 41 of 53 catalogued missile sites, 10 of 12 major air bases, all 4 primary naval facility complexes, and the functional collapse of their integrated air defense network as a coordinated system. The exchange ratio, approximately 1 to 7.6. The adversary had expended a missile inventory worth $2.3 billion in production cost to achieve 2 runway craters, 1 hangar fragment impact, 1 carrier antenna housing impact, and 3 personnel injuries. The U.S. had expended $1.261 billion to reduce Iranian offensive military capability below operational threshold across all catalogued categories. In the Combined Air Operations Center, The colonel, who had spent 19 months building the Copper Basin target list, watched the damage assessment populate in real time. Green indicator after green indicator across the 211 aim point matrix. At aim point 179, the display held for 11 minutes while a hardened Zagros facility required a second weapon before structural confirmation. He documented the additional expenditure in the mission log. Then he kept watching the board. At 4:51 a.m., the Iranian Air Defense Command Network stopped transmitting in any coordinated sense. Not suddenly. Progressively, sector after sector going silent over 50 minutes as radars were suppressed, communication nodes rendered inoperable, and human operators lost the ability to communicate with each other or any surviving command authority. The network still had surviving radar systems, their transmitters physically intact, but no coherent architecture connecting observation to decision. Radars without command structure are witnesses, not defenders. Witnesses cannot stop what is already over. The IRGC Aerospace Force command structure lost contact with the Zagros Missile Corps by 4:15 a.m., with Bandar Abbas Naval Facility commanders by 4:28 a.m., with airbase commanders at Isfahan and Shiraz by 4:44 a.m. By 4:51 a.m., it had degraded to intermittent encrypted voice radio contact with 3 surviving air defense sector commanders. One providing assessments based on information 43 minutes old, relayed manually too slowly to be operationally useful. The adversary did not surrender. There was no formal cessation, no final transmission. The command network simply became unable to coordinate a response, unable to issue executable orders, unable to assess what was happening with sufficient clarity to make decisions. The silence was not defeat declared. It was defeat demonstrated. There is a difference. The difference matters only to historians. Final weapons impact under Copper Basin logged at 4:54 a.m., 67 minutes after the first Iranian launch. Time from first adversary launch to first U.S. intercept, 57 seconds. Time from detection to counter-operation initiation, 8 minutes, 38 seconds. Time from first launch to final U.S. weapon impact, 67 minutes. Adversary weapons launched, 247. Intercepted, 241, 97.6%. Achieving effect, 6, 2.4%. 2 runway impacts at Al Udeid, 1 fragment at Al Dhafra, 1 carrier island structure impact, 2 escort destroyer antenna degradation events. U.S. installations rendered non-operational, 0. Carrier operational status, full combat tempo throughout. Copper Basin aim points engaged, 211. Confirmed neutralized, 196 of 211, 92.9%. Deep tunnel facilities with sealed access, 11. Iranian missile sites below operational threshold, 41 of 53, 77.4%. Major airbases non-operational, 10 of 12. Primary naval facilities non-operational, 4 of 4. Integrated air defense network, non-functional as a coordinated system. U.S. munitions expended, $1.261 billion. Iranian military infrastructure replacement value assessed lost, $8.1 to $11.4 billion. Exchange ratio, 1 to 7.6. U.S. personnel injured, 3. All minor, all returned to duty. U.S. aircraft lost, 0. U.S. vessels lost, 0. The 4 Iranian strategic premises had all failed. Detection occurred in 9 seconds, not 4 to 6 minutes. The defensive network was not saturated. It absorbed 247 weapons and remained at full operational capacity. Political authorization had been pre-delegated and required no deliberation. The Beirut precedent had been built on a political and military context that no longer existed in any operational sense. 67 minutes. That was the interval between the adversary's most ambitious military operation in 4 decades and the last U.S. weapon impact on their infrastructure. In 67 minutes, the ballistic missile program that had served as Iran's primary strategic deterrent for 30 years, the program that had shaped regional security architecture and defined IRGC doctrine across 3 generations of commanders, had been reduced from strategic deterrent to inventory management challenge. Not eliminated. Reduced. The distinction is precise. The adversary had identified a real window. They had executed with genuine operational competence. The synchronization of 247 simultaneous launches within 19 seconds represented a level of coordination no regional power had previously achieved. The window was 9 seconds wide. The detection system operated in 9 seconds. The response was 67 minutes long. Deterrence is not a doctrine. It is an arithmetic relationship between capability and consequence. The arithmetic had been demonstrated. The demonstration required no translation.